indeed the process of dealing with defective houses was started in 2007 by the department when this particular challenge was identified. One of the key things was that most of the housing contracts, worth about 4 billion rand, were identified to be not delivering as expected in terms of the specifications, standards and norms that are set to build RDP houses. This led into the Presidential Proclamation, which was entered into in 2007, and about 20 billion of housing contracts were being investigated by a special investigation unit. It continues to do so up to date.
In 2012, she reported that, or at least the 2010-2011 financial year, she reported that at least 10% of the complaints that she received, a great deal of them had to do with government subsidized housing. Is that still the case, that a large number of cases reported to the public protector? And I know I ask you a question that you might not really have a real insight into, but from your side, just how vast is the volume of complaints with regards to RDP houses?
It is true that most of the complaints relate to the building of RDP houses. I think this is as a result that it's unfortunate that most of the people who have seen a business opportunity in this particular area have targeted RDP houses for a number of reasons. But one of the key ones is that most of the people who are not very much clear about certain procurement regimes did not tighten up their systems to ensure that the procurement regime is tight to a point that you don't end up with contractors, one, who may not be competent enough to deliver on the ground and make sure that there's value for money that is being used, which is taxpayers' money. But secondly, also to make sure that in the process of building those houses, there is very effective monitoring system and inspection in place that should make sure that the quality of those houses are not compromised. It's for the very same reason, therefore, that today we are dealing with a matter that under normal circumstances in our democracy we shouldn't be dealing with. Quality assurance should remain a core competence of delivering RDP houses or low-cost houses in our communities.
Well, standardization specifications for RDP houses, she flagged as a major concern. Are those some of the recommendations that you are taking into account that you've dealt with or are dealing with?
Basically, we have a housing code. And what has transpired is that, and it's the very same point I've just made, that some of the contractors have completely deviated from the standards and norms that are set in our housing code. But in so doing, it was a way of trying to scoop government money by not delivering quality and amass a lot of money for themselves, which is the most unfortunate thing. Now, one of the measures we're putting in place is to ensure that there is conformity to the housing code as a matter of emergency, and those who are not conforming should be dealt with. It is within that context that, as we speak, currently there are about 59 housing contracts that are being investigated. It is also where people have deviated from the housing code, which is very clear in terms of what needs to be done, what components and what quality should be used in building RDP houses. So we're strengthening our systems in ensuring that we don't allow an opportunity for these people to do what they're doing, and we deal with them and we recover money the way they should be recovered, and we arrest and convict them where they've not done what they should have been expected.
To date, how many people have been convicted and how many of those are employees of the Department of Human Settlements or are associated with the department?
Today we've identified about 59 housing contracts worth 4 billion, which is being investigated. And the area of focus is also the payment, where some of these contractors have done incomplete or poorly constructed houses. And we're currently conducting 13 criminal investigations just on this matter, which relates to incomplete and poorly constructed houses. And some of these companies who have been found not doing the right thing have already been blacklisted, and we've submitted that information to National Treasury. Coming to public servants, because some of them are involved quite seriously on this, working with some syndicates who are involved in this particular challenge. It's a total of about 1,002 of the officials that have already been convicted, and about 17.9 million has been recovered as a result of these investigations.
I'm just curious because it sometimes happens that people who, public servants who are even accused of corruption or some sort of criminal behavior, somehow find themselves back in the system. Is there a plan to blacklist those people to ensure that they are either not hired by the department again or any other department?
We are reviewing the system of punishment that is being put in place, particularly in relation to public servants. What normally happens is that when the SIU has completed its investigations, then they enter into different types of engagement. Some of the serious crimes, the people are convicted and sent to jail, but some of them are so minor or are being used by some people, and they enter into pre-bargaining with those people. So there are different categories of punishments that are entered into. But our view, taking seriously the nature of this challenge, we think we need to engage with the SIU and try to impose harsher punishment for people who are involved in this. If it means that people are no longer employable in the public service sector, we went to that particular extent. We feel that our punishment for public servants who are involved is not harsh enough, and that allowed the system to remain corruptible.